All right, Eagle Nation, two of the Birds' biggest free agent acquisitions are off to a rough start, and some of the fan base seems to be concerned. But should Howie Roseman do the impossible and make the trade of a century to bring the hometown kid back? Also, Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio speaks on what one Eagles pass rusher can do to have more of an impact. Welcome on into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Be sure to like and subscribe to our show. But we must start it off with our guy, Saquon Barkley. We've praised him. We've highlighted him. We've talked about him so much. But one more honor into the record books as he had 3 touchdowns in his debut. And of course, there was no other way for anybody to win this award. Saquon named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I'm sure he'll be stacking a few more of those as we move forward. But an amazing debut. The question is, can he replicate and duplicate what he did in week 1? And will the Eagles allow him to do so? We'll just have to find out. Now, I want to talk about one player in particular who was with the Philadelphia Eagles the last several seasons. He's from Camden, New Jersey. He is a hometown guy, and he loved playing here. And to be quite honest, every year in double-digit sacks, he was a productivity machine. Haason Reddick is the man. And the way that this whole trade went down this summer really is just a botched opportunity, both from his agent's camp and the New York Jets as well. I mean, it's just a New York Jets thing to lose a guy like Haason Reddick after you trade draft assets to get him and not have any type of agreement in place, nothing. And I understand it from both sides, but the man wants to be paid. We knew that when he was here before he got traded, and the Jets thought they were just going to roll right into it and have no issue. Well, here you go. Alert. Haason Reddick is not playing for the New York Jets. Okay. Instant breaking news. Haason Reddick will not be suiting up unless you pay him his $20+ million per year. And Joe Giglio on Philly radio today says that, quote, Howie Roseman should call Joe Douglas back, offer him a late round pick, say, I'll take him back off your hands, bring Reddick back here, give him some money, and put him on the field. This is the most obvious fix I have ever seen. Could the Eagles do it from a financial standpoint? It may be a bit difficult. It depends how much Reddick is willing to budge, but we know he wants to get paid. We know he wants a multi-year contract. Would I offer them the same exact package back? Probably not. But would I throw up and toss up a late round pick, that is probably going to end up in some guy that may get cut in camp or, maybe get some snaps one day? Absolutely. To get Haason Reddick back on this team, especially at a position where they are still unknown and have some uncertainty, I think bringing Reddick back would be amazing. It would flip history. It would turn everybody on their heads. Could you imagine the Birds trading back for Haason Reddick, still having Bryce Huff, who they paid, and just going all in and ensuring that they have more stability at that position? Howie Roseman, if he could ever complete this, would be an absolute mastermind. And yes, I would take Reddick back. I still don't think they should have let him go. And the reason we have talked about this so much is because of Bryce Huff. And Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio spoke today about Bryce Huff, and he says, in order for Bryce Huff to play more, he needs to, quote, separate himself from the other guys. Now, we are going to take a look at their snap chart from week number 1 and look at Bryce Huff, man. He only played 45% of the snaps. That is less than Nolan Smith. That is less than Brandon Graham, who is literally in his last season. And you go out and you pay Bryce Huff all this money. He is your prime free agent acquisition, right? You trade Haason Reddick. You decide to get younger and hopefully a little more productive in the next several years. And this guy isn't even on the field yet for half of the snaps. We saw that throughout camp. And a lot of people questioned Vic Fangio about what his role would be. And he said he still has to show us more. So in a way, it is a bit confusing that you would get rid of the guy who can deliver double-digit sacks for this younger player who had one breakout season. Now, granted, he did not play a lot of snaps last year with the Jets either, right? That was why it was so amazing. Oh, he had a double-digit sack season with, playing half of the snaps. But this guy needs to be productive. The Eagles need a pass rush. Obviously, they're relying on their young guys in Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. And Josh Sweat's on a contract prove-it year, but Bryce Huff is the guy you gave a huge paycheck to. He needs to come out and be able to beat these guys around the edge and get to the quarterback. He needs to be a leader on this defense, and Vic Fangio still needs to see more. So I'm not going to hit the panic button just yet, but I would question Eagle Nation, when is the point where it gets to, okay, were concerned. Elliot Shore Parks today says that the Eagles gave $37.5 million in guaranteed money to Bryce Huff and Devin White. One is benched, and the other was fourth at his position in snaps in week one. It is early, but very surprising how the Eagles are handling two of their most important free agent signings. And that takes us to the conversation of Devin White, because again, Vic Fangio was asked about Devin White today, and he says that Nakobe Dean, no matter what happens, is the starter. That's right, Devin White is not the starter. We got official confirmation. Who knows if he did not travel due to injury or frustration or whatever comes next. The Eagles wouldn't even save that much money by trading Devin White. But for the guy that was supposed to be your prime free agent acquisition at the linebacker position, which has been relatively weak, this guy couldn't even beat out Nakobe Dean and Zack Baun. Now, granted, Zack Baun looked incredible, but Nakobe Dean is still a bit unproven. So the fact that Devin White couldn't beat him out is a bit concerning. Now, Fangio did say that White will continue to be part of the team and have a role, but the question is, for a guy like Devin White, who came off a down year last year and wants to earn another long-term contract, what point does he get to where he says, man, I don't want to be a part of this team, and maybe request a trade, right? You would hope that he doesn't stir things up in the locker room, but this guy got beat out. It's a tough situation for him to be in, and we'll see what comes next. Now, Vic Fangio also talked about Zack Baun, who had an incredible performance in week one, and he says, quote, I thought he could do it. Was I going to bet my life savings on it? No, but I had a good feeling he could do it. I love the honesty of Vic Fangio. You talk about a guy like Nick Sirianni, who always dodges and dips questions. Vic Fangio will tell you exactly what is on his mind, and he did advocate for Zack Baun, but I'm on the same mindset as Vic Fangio. I wasn't going to bet any money on Zack Baun being a productive linebacker in week one. This guy has primarily been a special teamers in his career. And looking ahead a little bit to week two, obviously the Eagles will have to wait an extra day as they play on Monday night. I actually really enjoy that because Kirk Cousins chokes in prime time. He cannot play under the bright lights. He looked awful in week one, and I'm not expecting anything different in week two, as the Eagles will have their home opener. They have a couple ceremonies, right, honoring Nick Foles. ESP says that Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons have combined for 19 interceptions over the last 3 years. They had 9 last year combined, one of the best playmaking safety duos in the NFL. Jalen Hurts has to be safer with the ball versus Atlanta than he was against the Packers. That goes without saying. Jalen Hurts has to be better, right? Can't put that ball up for grabs. He can't make those bad decisions late in games, especially in the fourth quarter. It could have completely changed the complexion of the week one game. Hurts knows he has to be better, and I believe he will. But ESP is definitely right. Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons are no duo to play with, right? You throw that ball up, 50-50 ball, or you just leave it hanging, one of these guys are going to take it out of the air and run it back the other way for a touchdown. So Jalen Hurts will have a huge test. The Atlanta defense did play pretty well against the Pittsburgh Steelers this past week. They lost 18-10, but all 18 points came from 6 field goals. 6 for 6 for Chris Boswell. They did not score an offensive touchdown. They held Justin Fields to 156 yards in the air, but the problem is they got ran all over, and Kirk Cousins did what he does best, and the Eagles know this from playing him, for many years now, especially in the division. He chokes under the bright lights. Kirk Cousins is not good at all against the blitz. He looks like a completely different quarterback at 35, 36 years old. I don't know how he continues to get paid, but at the end of the day, the Eagles should have their way, and it's going to be a huge test for Vic Fangio. I'm really eager to see what he does to rattle Kirk Cousins, because every time the Eagles play Kirk, whether it's on the Vikings, Commanders, back then, they bring pressure. They get to him. They know how to stop him. They have the formula. ESP says Kirk Cousins had the 5th quickest time to throw last week. Falcons O-line has weak spots. Cousins is a statue in the pocket. I would expect lots of quick throws again versus the Eagles. Maybe that'll play into the favor of Vic Fangio's defense, but we're going to need to see a couple guys breaking through the seal of that offensive line and getting to Kirk Cousins. You have to throw him off his rhythm. He is a guy where if you let him sit pretty in the pocket, even if he's getting the ball out of there quick, he will make the short to intermediate throws. But once you start to crack through and get to him, he looks like he is completely lost. The Eagles know how to beat him, and I predict they will do it again. But a big test for this defense for Bryce Huff. But as always, appreciate everybody tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly.